Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today's time to get back to the Ask Me Anything session and the answers to that session. On a side note, there were some duplicate questions and some straight up comments that have been omitted. But without further ado, let's get into it. Katie Jets wants to know, do you support Gamergate? Yes, I do. I don't see why anyone wouldn't support ethics in journalism. PDX Lone Wolf 14 wants to know, are you also the artist known as Raging Golden Eagle? No, I'm not. Mastel T. Nouveau Monde would like to know, how long do you take to make one video? Do you have lots of time to do all the editing? Well, it doesn't feel like it takes as much time as it actually does. Any one component can go by pretty quickly, but it adds up. First, I gotta figure out what to say, and then you gotta do your audio recording, and your mixing, and your editing, and then you gotta do the memes. So yeah, on average, it probably takes me a couple of days to do a video. Aaron Brown would like to know, do you think all Christianity is stupid? Well, I don't think that all Christians are stupid, but as a religion, Christianity is pretty stupid. So Men's Liberation Front for Truth and Justice and Guillermo Colom, don't really know how to pronounce that name. And The Serpent 1990 is asking me basically the same thing, and that is how I got started. Well, that was sort of a mental process that grew in my mind over maybe 6 months. There wasn't really any event that precipitated this. I think I'll attribute it to Sargon of Akkad. I kept looking forward to his videos because they were always funny, and I felt I wanted to give something back to the community. Now, I'd been supporting a little bit with Patreon and stuff like that, but at some point I just figured a perfect way to give back is to actually do my own stuff and give that back to the community. Then we get to Mr. Coonpuff, who says, gotta start off by saying I love you and your videos, man. Oh, I'm just gonna steal that from Teal Deer and say flattery will get you everywhere. Question, how old are you and what are your current interests? Hey moron! Fucking moron! Answer my question! Kudos to you for working in a way for me to do a hey moron. I'm not going to go into too much personal details in this video, so I'm just going to say that I'm not a teenager and I'm not a senior citizen. I'm somewhere in between. As for my interests, apart from YouTube, they would be making music, photography, and cars, I would say. Next up, we have Chavez Mir, or is it Chavez Mir? I don't know. Most feminists claim that men are not stronger than women. Women can be strong as well. Well, obviously a minority of women can be stronger than some men, but if that's the case, does that mean that during a fight men can hit women as hard as they want? No, I don't think you can use as much force as you want, but you can use as much force as is necessary to fend off the attacker. As for your question about sports, yeah, I think there should be a gender divide, otherwise it would be pointless for women to enter into competitions. And when I say sports, I mean physical sports. Dakurti asks, I got to your video through Social Justice Warriors on Facebook. Do you know or ever posted there? Well, I didn't know about it until you posted this, but now I do. It seems like a pretty cool group. Next up is Michael Mon, who wants to know, do you reuse old audio clips of hey moron, fucking moron, or do you record another one for each video? The truth is, they're both true. Sometimes I reuse an old one and sometimes I decide to do a new one. Here's a question from the reinforcements, which is kind of similar to what we were talking about before. What is your opinion on a man physically defending himself from an abusive significant other? For 2 years, my ex-wife would physically assault me when she got mad, and when I had enough and filed for the divorce, all the judge could do was comment on how I wasn't really in any danger due to the fact that I'm a large male and she's a small female, and that was that. I've seen the show Snapped. A small woman can kill a large man just as easily as anyone else. I just wanted to know what you think about a man's right to defend himself. Well, like I said before, I certainly think you have every right to defend yourself and use any force necessary to fend off the attacker. And as far as I know, this is supported by law in most countries. However, like you pointed out, that's not the problem. The problem is that it's not taken seriously. If you're a man, you're just supposed to suck it up. I don't really know what to tell you here, buddy, except that I feel for you. Then we have Tobias Fritjofsen, who says, love this. How are you going to grow faster? Well, that's not really up to me. All I can do is just keep doing what I'm doing. Next up is Marcus Oblivious, who has a boatload of questions, so I'm just going to select 3. Are you an atheist, and for how long? Yes, I'm an atheist, and I've always been an atheist. What are your credentials with regards to higher learning? Well, I have some, and that's pretty much all I'm willing to say about that. What are your aspirations for your channel, and do you think these types of channels can help make the world a better place? Well, I think that might be a goal that is too high to aspire to. I'm not realistically seeing this making our world a better place as much as I see it making a day a better day, hopefully by making some people laugh. Alexandru Adrian Petrovsky would like to know, do you like video games? Well, yes I do, especially the strategy kind. Next up is this fool who'd like to know, what's the secret for your sexy voice? Oh, you old smoothie you? I don't know. Whiskey maybe? Parker Robbins says, okay, now I get some Christians are hypocritical and unnecessarily hate on or in general be dicks to homosexuals and LGBT community, but you've made some videos that are somewhat hateful towards Christians. I was just wondering, what are your views on religion, Christianity, and what religion are you? Well, sometimes you just gotta fight fire with fire. So if you're sending out a hateful message, then you can expect one back. So my view on religion is that it serves no purpose and creates a lot of conflict, and I'm not part of any religion at all. Then we have Rambo HD, who says, I never really understood the concept of feminism. Could you explain it a little bit? Sure. Feminism is the radical idea that women are actually children who cannot be held responsible for anything they do or anything they say. Then we get to Jose Luis Rodriguez, Santa Cup, Cyril, and Sensational, who all basically want to know the same thing. And the question basically boils down to, do you have any professional experience? And the answer is yes, I do. I work in the film industry. Black Queen Majik would like to know, why don't you have a face? Are you related to Slender Man? Do you two shop at the same suit store? Oh boy, do we ever. I am Slender Man. Well, as far as you know. Kerr Norrock wants to know, tits or ass? Well, tits all the way. Next up is Hyper Opinionated. Your accent sounds American, am I right? Yep. What's your position on the Second Amendment? Well, I'm not a gun fanatic or anything. I don't own any guns, but I do see the point. The government is doing some Soviet Union style shit. Mass wiretapping, secret trials, torture. So there may come a time when people need to scare that motherfucker back into place. What is your position on exporting Western values to other cultures? In theory, if they actually accepted our values, then yeah, that would be good, but we can see in the Middle East that that's not really what happens. What really needs to happen for it to be successful is import rather than export, like Japan did, or even China. They saw what we had and they wanted it too, and that's why it's successful over there. To use a social justice warrior term, they appropriated our culture. Next we have Wolf Dragoness, who'd like to know, where did the name Undoomed come from? Well, first of all, I wanted something that was fairly unique and short and easy to remember. I also didn't want anything that would name any topic. I didn't want to lock myself into something before I knew what I wanted to do with the channel. I couldn't really tell you how it popped into my head, but it has 3 parts that I like. First off, the whole name Undoomed symbolizes the fact that I don't believe in doom or religion or anything like that. However, if you remove the first 2 letters, you get doomed. And that symbolizes the way I feel sometimes about the world and all the shit that's going on. And thirdly, remove the last 4 letters and you get undo, which is what I hope we can do to some of the stupidity in the world. A Red Curtain asks, do you agree with any part of feminism, and if so, what part do you agree with? Well, I agree with the original part, which I'm not sure was even called feminism back then, but you know, women's liberation, women's rights, equal pay, basically everything that's egalitarianism. Next up, Gabin's Lair wants to know, can you do more than just your mind on feminism? I bet you can explain those special kinflakes and their flawed comments or furry logic. Furries have one flaw, and it's furries are people, and I am a wolf-dragon hybrid. Oh, the irony. You know what, that's actually on my list. I just haven't found the right angle or the right video to respond to, so yeah, that'll probably happen. Next we have Isoclone and Patrick Miller, who'd like to know how I came up with the Undoomed character. Well, the first thing that I did was that I decided I wanted to be anonymous. So then I started thinking, what can I find that represents me without showing me? And the one thing that came to mind was a guy in a suit, because I do love suits. I don't wear them every day or anything, but there's no denying it. When you put on a suit, you feel like $1,000,000 bucks. So after that, I started thinking, okay, what about his face? Do I just go to some stock footage site and buy a picture of some guy? And then I realized that it doesn't really matter who I choose. It could be the handsomest guy ever, it could be Brad Pitt. Someone is going to have a problem with the way he looks. So then I decided that maybe he doesn't have a face. So I started messing around in Photoshop, and after a while I was like, wow, I just created a phantom sketch of Slender Man. So I said to myself, that's pretty cool. Okay, sold. So that's pretty much it. But on a side note, at one point I was actually going to have another character, and his name was Captain Moron. And I'm hereby invoking copyright on that guy because I might bring that character in for a guest visit. Next up is Anthony Green, who would like to know, have you always been anti-feminist? No, there was a time when feminism seemed pretty innocuous and reasonable. You know, it was just a group that watched out for women's rights, and that was pretty much it. And that was obviously before feminism morphed into this all-encompassing monster that we have today. Was there ever a time in your life where feminism was unquestionable? A time when even if you had a personal objection to something said by a feminist, you knew you'd better keep it to yourself? Yeah, it was definitely easier the further back in time you go. It's getting harder and harder to speak out against feminism as we progress into the future. Is there a particular moment you felt free for the first time to openly criticize feminist dogma publicly? Yeah, here on my channel. Craig Hillman wants to know, why is rape so funny? Well, maybe it has something to do with the fact that statistically 9 out of 10 people enjoy a gang rape. 10 out of 10 if the girl has AIDS. Yeah, baby, I just went there. It's called a joke, motherfucker. Ooh, I'm gonna get hate mail now, right? Andy Alcotter wants to know, where are you from? Nice voice. West Coast, baby. So, Psycho McAwesomeness asks a shitload of stuff and provides us with a wall of text which we haven't the time for. So let me just answer the first thing. Will you be making a video covering the batshit crazy ideology of black people can't be racist, only white people can? I'm not planning such a video right now, but if I found an extremely stupid video that would lend itself to comedy, I might. Wimpy Anime Protagonist wants to know, in your opinion, what's the stupidest thing feminists have ever campaigned for so far? I kind of like the one where they're campaigning for trans women to be able to go into women's locker rooms and bathrooms, because you know that's going to end in disaster. I also like the one where they want to free the nipple, while at the same time we all know that feminists hate boobs. And we all know that if they won, they'd be like the dog who catches up to the ambulance and goes, now what? This isn't really what I expected at all. This isn't even what I wanted. Amadeus 628 would like to know, here's a big question for you. Since we are human and therefore capable of being fucking morons, does that mean that you are a fucking moron? Yes, it does. I'm just as fallible as the rest of you. Next up is Biostem, who wants to know about mind-body dualism and counter-apologetics. Oh dude, that's just not gonna happen in this short form video, sorry. Ryan Wertanen asks, if you are in the Denver area, would you be interested in a drink or perhaps some other recently legalized recreational mind-altering substance? Just sounds like a person I'd enjoy talking to. Yeah, sure, but I don't have any plans to go to Denver though. Bastardist Gray wants to know, has anyone ever told you you sound like Doc Mitchell from Fallout New Vegas? Cause you sound like Doc Mitchell from Fallout New Vegas. Nope, you are the first. Lord Belmont wants to know if I've ever done any news or voiceover work. Nope, not really. And fittingly, a guy named Nope asks the following. Or maybe it's a gal, who knows? My question is rather personal since I have a certain struggle when it comes to my own stance on religion. In your videos, I've noticed that you call yourself an atheist. When the subject of your videos throws out a question about God's existence, you simply answer with a decisive no. My question is, what drove you to becoming sure there is no God? With my current knowledge, all I can say is that while a book is certainly bad proof of God's existence, there is no counterproof. So the only thing whose existence we can prove is usually the book, which is always weak proof. You're certainly an intelligent man, so I think you might teach me something on the matter. Well, there you guys go with the flattery again, thank you. I'll try to answer it as best I can. As far as proof goes, that which can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. That means that I don't have to spend time disproving something because there was no evidence of it existing in the first place. People can assert anything from God to spaghetti monsters to ghosts to rainbow unicorns. And I'm not going to spend time on disproving either of those because I've seen no effect, trace, or evidence of them. The Bible proves the existence of God no more than the Lord of the Rings proves the existence of hobbits or Star Wars proves the existence of Darth Vader and the Force. Furthermore, I invite you to consider the following conundrum. If God is willing to prevent evil but not able to, then he is not omnipotent. If he is able but not willing, then he is malevolent. Is he both willing and able? Then why is there still evil? Is he neither willing nor able? Then why call him God? That's as good of an answer I could come up with on short notice, so I hope it helps. 2 Chens wants me to play Call of Duty with him. Unfortunately, I'm not into Call of Duty. Next up is Vanna Blue Sky. I have a question. Which is the more stupid ideology? Veganism or Carnism? I realize this could take a little research, but I'd love to know what you think. Wait a minute, isn't Carnism part of vegan speak? Isn't that their word for normal people, just in the same way as feminists call normal people cis? Anyway, I don't really care about veganism that much, so I'm not going to do any research on it. I'm just going to go with my gut feeling on this word. Scrub Gasmo asks, where do you sit on the Nolan chart political spectrum? I'd probably say centrist libertarian. I do hate government influence. Almighty Byron asks, how long do you think the social justice warrior microaggression mansplaining trigger warning culture will last? Well, in politics, things tend to move in waves, hence the word third wave feminism. So I guess it'll last another 10 years and then we won't see it for another 20. Hopefully. Next up, Betty Cannon. Loving the channel. Here's my question. Why is it when you say the word idea, it sounds like you're saying idea? Just curious. Well, I thought that was obvious. It's a tribute to teal deer, of course. No, I don't know. That's just the way I say it, I guess. Nuclear Test Rabbit wants to know, is there a specific place on the internet where these mentally deficient people congregate? Yeah, it's called YouTube. Second question, can you tell me who by far you think is the most idiotic person? Politician, YouTuber, celebrity, or otherwise. I'm speaking about that one person out there that when you hear them speak, it sends you into a blinding rage and makes you want to set things on fire. I don't think anyone I don't personally know has had that effect on me, but if I had to choose, Lacey Green. Ecstasy says, your voice is so freaking awesome. Thank you. Can you read the I sexually identify as an attack helicopter copy pasta out loud? I believe I just did, but I'll give you a second one. I sexually identify as an attack helicopter. Or maybe this would be better. I identify as a sexual attack helicopter. They call me Sex Machine. I love these weird questions. El Guido wants to know, is there any possibility that you make a video explaining to people the difference between feminism and egalitarianism? I think the more videos we have on the subject, the more people we can enlighten about the subject so they can stop defending this bullshit. Well, I don't think I'll make a specific video explaining words. I'm more about making people laugh than educational videos, but it could certainly come up as a part of a future video. Turkas wants to know, was there ever a time you called yourself a feminist? Nope. If no, how come? Well, before feminism went full retard, feminism was a women's movement. There were no men calling themselves feminists back then. And now that feminism has gone full retard, I wouldn't be caught dead calling myself a feminist. DACRC93 wants to know where I'm from. I'm from my dad's dick, aight? Passing Liaison wants to know, do you check to make sure the people in your vids are actually as stupid as they look and not just acting extremely stupid? Like that Brittany Venti one? I've seen people say she's completely stupid, and I've seen people say she's trolling and just acting to get a rise out of people. So it got me curious if you verify whether or not these people are actually as stupid as they appear to be. Well, first of all, I'm not the New York Times here with an investigations team or something. As far as Brittany Venti goes, I'd never heard of this girl before I made the video. I checked a bunch of videos out when I found her channel and they were all retarded, but obviously I'm not retarded, so I know that there's a chance that she's just faking it all. However, I'm not sure that it matters, because it's like taking a clip from a movie or a TV series and mocking a character for being really retarded. You know, people do that all the time, and it's great fun. But I could be totally wrong, and it's later shown that people actually hate the fact that I did that video, but I guess the comments will let us know. And here's a little bit of a follow-up on that from Corbin Mason. Could you possibly do another one of Brittany Venti? I guess we'll wait and see what the comments say. If people want more of Brittany Venti, I'm certainly open to it. Connor Shaw asks, I would like to know what software and platform you use to create such professional-looking content. Thank you for that. Well, I use Maya, the Adobe Suite, V-Ray, Nuke, and Logic Pro 10. And my platform is a Mac Pro. I got this question sent to me privately, so I'm guessing he wants to be anonymous. Who are you looking to connect with? Well, I'm just looking to connect with some people I can laugh with. What is valuable to you right now? Being happy and having fun. What are the other influences you're paying attention to right now? Well, as you've probably figured out by now, I'm into teal deer. Other than that, off the top of my head, I would say cool hard logic is pretty sweet. MCB Em asks, what is your favorite video you like to do? Like, more specifically, what type of stupidity do you enjoy debunking the most? And if you had to choose between all these little snowflakes, which special form of stupidity is, in your opinion, the dumbest that you have made a video about? Wow, that's tough. Can I say all of them? Anyway, I kind of like the one with a girl who wanted to prove that written consent was bad because it had stupidity and logical fallacies and ignorance, and it went against everything that feminism has said before. Darth Clyde would like to know, what are your thoughts on the idea that feminism has its roots in jealousy? I don't know that it has roots in jealousy. I've never heard that before. When feminism was first founded, it did have some valid points, and I would say that the roots would go back to the outrage over inequality. Of course, what it was founded on doesn't have much impact on today's feminism. The question goes on with specifically with regards to older men liking younger women. Even further, the fact that you will never see a feminist have a logical and critical discussion of the age of consent and why it should be changed. I'm just not sure what you're saying here. Do you want the age increased or decreased? I wasn't aware that there was a problem with the age of consent. You'll have to excuse me, but without further information, I don't really have an opinion on this. And then we have this guy. Koala Bear asks, can you give us your best Morgan Freeman voice? Holy shit, dude, that's a tall order. That's like the most epic voice ever. Okay, I'll give it a try, I guess. This is gonna suck. When I was a child down in Louisiana, I used to go down to the river to try to catch some fish. Sometimes I would catch them and sometimes I wouldn't. But oh, that's alright now, 'cause when I got home, my mama had some fish waiting for me. She could do just about anything, my mama. And I was always proud to be her son. And my mama was always proud to be the mother of the first black president in a movie. Oh my god, that sucked balls! As you can clearly see, I'm not a voice actor. Anyway, this has been the longest movie in a long time. Thank God it's over, because it was a lot more work than I thought it would be. But regardless, it was a lot of fun too, so thanks for all your questions. As always, thanks for watching.